Hey guys, we're going to go to the frostwyrm wing, and even though there is not any trash in this wing, it is going to take a while because there was a lot of stuff going on. So you saw me click the orb, that's how I get up here. After you've killed all of the bosses in the first 4 wings, the orb will become active. And you can also see that Saffron is starting to pull herself together. So we're going to run in and get that started. Just to give a general quick note about Saffron, Saffron's a dragon, and like any dragon has a cleaves in a frontal cone in front of herself, and she also has a tail swipe just like every other dragon in the game. In addition, Saffron has a frost aura that's putting out 600 damage every 2 seconds. This is the reason that you're going to want to have frost resist gear on. What you need is dependent on your class, it's dependent on your role, and it's depending on what your raid leader tells you, so I'm not going to give any kind of numbers for that. But everyone's going to want to come in with some form of frost resistance, whether it's just their gear, or they have some juju chill, or they're using greater frost protection potions, which everyone should be using pre-popping and throughout the fight. Beyond the frost aura, Saffron works in 2 phases, and in the first phase there's a life drain, which is a curse that gets put onto members of the raid that needs to be decursed immediately, because not only does it do damage to the raid, it will also heal Saffron. Additionally, Saffron can summon a blizzard. The blizzard is not like the one that is summoned in AQ40 by the Twin Emps. This blizzard acts more like the green dragons the world bosses, that green kind of gas that's floating around and puts people to sleep. The blizzard does the same thing, where it kind of moves around the raid and is going to do massive damage to whoever's stuck in it. So when you're fighting Saffron, you want to be sure that you're being aware of this blizzard that's moving around. So that's what's going on in phase 1, so let me go ahead and engage this fight. Phase 1 is going to be on the ground. The tank is going to want to run up and turn Saff around so that she's facing away from the entrance, and you're going to have a group, half of your raid here and half of your raid here. So you'll see here, this is the blizzard that's coming down, and it's just moving on to me. So I'm just going to move out of the way and come over back here. And here's this frost aura that's dealing that damage to me every 2 seconds. And there's the life drain that's gone up as well, that it's doing damage to me and healing Saffron. So this is phase 2, where Saffron has gone up into the air. In phase 2, Saffron is going to Ice Bolt, which it's hard to see, but I'm encased in a block of ice. And it's saying Saffron takes a deep breath. That ability is Frost Breath. Frost Breath sends a ball of frost to the ground very slowly. When it hits the ground, it's going to explode. It's going to release the 5 people that were hit with 5 ice bolts. The way the ice bolts work are like the Onyxia fireballs. Not only are they going to hit me, they're going to do damage to anybody who's too close to me. So people are going to want to be spread out, much like we're spread out for Cthulhu on this fight. With the exception that we'll continue to only be behind her. We want to be spread out but still condensed enough. When that frost breath is coming down from the air, anyone who's not encased in an ice bolt in that ice casing that I was in, anyone who's not in there can hide behind one of those to avoid the damage from the frost breath. The frost breath, if it hits you, is going to one-shot you. There is no way to negate that damage. Additionally, there is an enrage in Saffron. I couldn't find a solid time on how long the enrage is. Some people said 5 minutes, other people said it was 15. Some people were saying that they had fought Saffron for 6 minutes and hadn't reached an enrage, so I'm going to guess it's the 15 enrage timer, but I haven't been able to find a confirmed number. So that's that frost breath that's coming down and exploded. If I wasn't encased in that block of ice, I would have been one shot. And as you can see, I haven't done any damage. Whether or not Saffron's on the ground or up in the air, they're shifting phases. It's not based on life or how much damage done. It's just a time. Saffron goes up in the air, after a certain time comes back down. So I think we've seen everything. The biggest thing on the Saffron fight is going to be healing. It's a very healing, intensive, stressful environment here, especially with all of the aura damage going out. Mages and druids are going to need to decurse ASAP, and everyone is going to want to have pre-popped a greater frost protection potion, as well as using them on cooldown. If you need to, you should bandage yourself. However, you're only going to get 2 ticks off of it, so it may not be totally worth it. That's up to you. It's up to what your raid leader tells you to do. However, in this fight, your potion cooldown is best used for a greater frost protection potion. When Saffron lands again, I'm going to kill it now because we've seen all of the mechanics. This is just going to be DPS race versus how fast our healers can heal and not run out of mana. The Kel'Thuzad fight took me 3 times as many notations to get everything ready for this as any other singular boss in this entire instance. So bear with me. First of all, this fight is going to be fought in 3 phases. And I want to just say that Kel'Thuzad is not tauntable. He cannot be taunted. So phase 1, everyone is going to come to this center position here. When we're ready, we're going to run in here, and we're going to group up in the center to start the fight. And then you'll see all of these portals around the room. We have undead. These undead are slowly, one at a time, going to start moving towards us, and we don't want to leave this green space. So the range are going to focus on these little skeletons, as well as these soul weavers in the back. So when the soldiers of the frozen wastes are coming at us, when they touch a member of the raid, they're going to explode and do damage, and they're going to do a lot of damage, so range needs to kill them before they get to us. These abominations, however, are just going to keep fighting until they're killed, so the abominations are going to be picked up by a tank and meleeed down. And then the range will just continue to pick off the skeletons as they're coming in. Eventually, you'll see here I have a soul weaver coming in at me. The soul weavers, when they get to me, I'll let the next one get to me, but when the soul weavers get to me, they are going to not only do damage to the person that they hit, but they're going to knock back as well. So when we have all of these adds around the edge of the room, if we were to have a soul weaver get to us and knock us back, that could cause us to pull extra mobs, which we do not want to do. So I have this one coming in right now. So I'm gonna not kill her until she gets here so I can show you what she does.
I don't have a target. I need a target.
And you'll see this pacing is fast, but totally doable. So when this Banshee gets to me, in Classic she's going to do 7,000 damage to the raid and a knockback. So there's the damage and the knockback, and she does not die like the skeletons do. And that's all that's really going on in phase 1, so I'm just going to keep knocking down these guys as I start explaining Kel'Thuzad's abilities. Actually, they're not doing very much damage. I think I'll just kill the big guys. So Kel'Thuzad will join the fight for phase 2. We'll have to quickly dispatch of whoever is left, whichever of these soldiers are left. So you'll see they kind of all disappeared, and I just have these last few that are coming in. So any minute now, Kel'Thuzad's going to join the fight, and that's going to be the start of phase 2. When phase 2 starts, Kel'Thuzad strikes. The main tank is going to pick him up here in the center, and the rest of the raid is going to spread out around the room almost exactly like we would for Cthulhu. So what you just saw, that was a shadow fissure. That bit on the ground, this is a shadow fissure. You have 3 seconds to get out of it before it one-shots whoever's standing in it. He also does an ability called Detonate Mana. It is a random mana user. Anyone who uses mana, it will burn half of their mana over 5 seconds, and it will deal arcane damage to anyone who's nearby. It does not deal the arcane damage to the mana user themselves, just to anyone nearby, and that's one of the reasons that we want to spread out. Another reason is so that not too many people are hit by this shadow fissure here. There's quite a few things going on. He also does a chain of Kel'Thuzad, and that's a mind control. I'm not going to be able to show you that as a solo player, but he will mind control the main tank and 4 other people at random. The mind controlled people need to be sheeped or feared immediately, especially if a healer is mind controlled, because the healers can not only heal Kel'Thuzad, but they can also put buffs on him. So we're going to want to keep up detect magic on Kel'Thuzad the whole time, so that if a healer is mind controlled and buffs him, we know that that's gone up and we can take it off. You'll notice he's also doing a Frostbolt. The Frostbolt is a 2-second cast, and it does about 10,000 frost damage to the main tank. However, it is interruptible, so if you'll see that cast, that's totally a time where I could be interrupting that. So if you want to use Counterspell, we want to definitely have rogues that are holding energy to make sure that they can kick that, and that Frostbolt doesn't get out, because that's going to do a lot of damage to the tank. He also has a Frostbolt volley that's going to go out every 15 seconds to the entire raid, and it'll do up to 3,500 damage. However, most of us should be wearing frost resist gear for this fight, and we won't take the full amount of that damage. It can be fully resisted, but we want to be wearing frost resist gear just to make sure that we're not taking a full 3,500 damage every 15 seconds. The last thing he's doing is a frost blast, which is every 30 seconds. He randomly freezes one person, which again he's not doing because I'm a solo player, but he'll randomly freeze one person for 5 seconds. During the 5 seconds that that person is frozen, they're going to take 130% of their HP as damage, and that's going to be a ticking damage. So when someone is hit with Frost Blast, the healers need to be spam healing that person for 5 seconds to make sure that they don't die. Additionally, anyone who is within 10 yards of that person will be frozen as well, which is yet another reason that we want to be spread out on this fight. Unlike the Cthulhu fight, melee can be stacked. If 2 of them are hit, we would have the healers to be able to heal 2 melee that are hit with that, 2 or 3 melee. So everyone can still be damaging Kel'Thuzad. It's not quite the one-shot mechanic that a chained eye beam is, but it is still going to be doing enough damage that we don't want to be clumped up. We want to maybe be 2 stacked. You'll also notice my mana has been going down. He's been hitting me with that detonate mana, but I have not been taking any damage from it. Phase 3 is going to begin when Kel'Thuzad gets to 40%. So he says he requires aid, he's calling for help. So in phase 3, it's just phase 2 plus adds. So we've got these guardians coming in, the Guardian of Ice Crown. We're going to get 5 of them. And they're going to enter one at a time like this. They are undead and they can be shackled. However, we're going to get 5 total adds and only 3 can be shackled. If we shackle more than 3 of them, if we have priest shackle 4 of them, Kel'Thuzad is going to do a shackle shatter ability and release all of them. Additionally, target one of these, they have this blood tap. Damage increased by 30%. This stacks up to 99 times. So the stacks will just keep going up. We'll have off-tanks pick them up, but if the off-tank gets to a point where they're just taking too much damage, we're going to have to start kiting them. A couple things I wonder about on this is if we can't juggle our shackle around just a little bit. So if we have our 3 shackles, when the 2 start getting too strong, if we have those 2 get shackled, which would cancel the 2 that are shackled by those same priests, if we could just restart. I'm not sure if that would work. I think it's definitely something worth trying. Additionally, if the person that the Guardian of Ice Crown is attacking dies, that increases their damage as well. So anytime these guardians switch targets, either because the off-tank they're attacking dies or because someone new taunts them, they're going to increase their damage by 15%. So it's just going to add a stack to this blood tab, which is already going up on its own to begin with. So we want to keep 1 tank on them as long as possible. And like I said, I think it would be worth trying to move the shackle around. I'm not sure how that would go. It's not really advisable to try and kill these. You kind of just want to keep them kited and shackled until Kel'Thuzad is dead. Once Kel'Thuzad dies, these despawn. And that's the entirety of the fight. It's a lot of mechanics, it's a lot of paying attention to what's on the ground under you, and a lot of paying attention to healing and where the damage is going and where everything is positioned. It's definitely going to take a few tries, much like Cthulhu did, to just get the positioning down. But once we've got it down, it's a very methodical, he's got a method to his madness. So I'm going to go ahead and kill him. And that is the end. that is the end of Naxxramas. We've killed Kel'Thuzad, and I know we can do it. Thanks for watching.